Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome to the community conversation. This is a hujjat initiative. In these regular conversations with individuals, we will explore their struggle, achievement, courage and disappointment that shaped and guided their faith, family and community. Today we have with us someone whose interest and achievements in sports led him to become the qualified table tennis coach. He introduced tennis competition at the Mullah Asghar Memorial Tournament and organized it until 2015. Presently, he coaches young and old to improve their table tennis skills and inspires them to acquire the skill to their best potential. He is Hussein Juma. Welcome, Hussein.
Thank you very much.
Husseinbhai was born in Kampala, Uganda in 1955, where he did his primary and secondary schooling. He moved to UK and graduated with accounting finance degree from LSE, that is the London School of Economics, London in 1975. In 1981, he qualified as a solicitor, and after partnering in various central London law practices, opened his own legal practice in Harrow in 2005 and ran it until 2018. Presently, he is a senior consultant solicitor specializing in commercial landlord and tenant and commercial property law. In Uganda, he represented school first teams in tennis, table tennis, cricket and basketball, and awarded Sportsman of Year for winning Uganda Junior Singles Championship and representing YMCA in the USA with other contenders who were national team players in football, hockey, cricket and athletics. Subsequently, and to his credit, he has played and represented his schools and clubs in a number of competitive tennis, table tennis and other sporting tournaments and won many awards to his name. Lead table tennis coordinator at the three festivals he was, also and a recipient of Stanmore Jeffries, is it right? Yes. Stanmore Jeffries Award in recognition of table tennis coaching. And SJRS, what is SJRS again?
Stanmore Jeffries
Racket Sports. Forgot. Coaching to SJRS members. Presently, he is a club and team captain at Kenton Lawn Tennis Club and in charge of junior coaching at Kenton Table Tennis Club. He is also coaching juniors and adults at regular weekly table tennis practice and training for SJRS at Harefield Academy. He is also currently coaching and training SJRS ladies table tennis team for Unity Games in Dubai in December. Welcome again, Hussein.
I'm pleased to be here.
Now, you are a coach, table tennis coach. How did you get into that? What led you into sort of coaching and all that? So perhaps share with us your journey of being a coach.
I have been involved in coaching my children in tennis since they were young. But as far as table tennis coaching goes, it starts with my daughter who, when she was 14 years old, one day said to me, "Dad, I want to play table tennis."
Really?
So I took her to the club where I used to play, and she watched a match being played, a league match, and she asked me, "Were you as good as these people when you played?" And I said, "That's Division 5. I was in Division 2. And that inspired her.
Inspired her?
It inspired her that I used to play at such a high level. She had never seen me play. And she wanted to take up the sport. I started coaching her, and then she had a professional coach as well. And she did really well. She was very committed. And she was ranked 64 in the country in the under-18s. And all that she achieved within 2 years.
Right, okay.
So it was a good journey.
So did you sort of coached her then?
Yes, so the way it worked is that she had her own coach on Saturdays, who was a professional. He was actually a Croatian international player who coached young kids. But the training that went in after her coaching is something that we did together.
Right. Okay.
So that was my first initiation into
coaching.
table tennis coaching. Started with my daughter.
Right.
And then I recall about 8 years ago, somebody mentioned to me that there was a small group of people from Stanmore Mosque who used to hire some tables at Harrow Leisure Centre and played on Saturday mornings. I was just inquisitive to find out what they were up to. And I went on one session and they seemed very keen. I joined that group. I started then to teach them how to play. And eventually that group became what is now the SJRS Table Tennis Club. So effectively it was taken over by Stanmore Jaffrey Racket Sports. And now we have regular sessions on Saturdays at Harefield Academy. We have 35, 40 people, adults, children coming. And I've been involved with coaching the kids for the last 5 years. I did not have any qualifications as a coach. And as my kids used to say, "Uncle, you're just a fake coach, aren't you?" So it inspired me to perhaps get a bit of paper.
So you got a paper.
And 3 months ago,
Qualified?
3 months ago, I enrolled on the ETTA coaching program. And last month I got my coaching qualification. In fact, last night I did the last bit of the coaching bit, which is the safeguarding certificate.
Right.
So I will get my written certificate within the next couple of weeks. And the joke is that Hussein uncle is going to get a certificate which will say he's no longer a fake coach. So we do laugh about that.
Well, why not? Why not? And I think that's the way forward. Laughing and joking and actually being serious as well as a part of it. But tell me, as far as you would be the first table tennis coach in our community.
No, that's not true. Actually,
it's not true.
Arif Ali Hirji,
okay.
who is now secretary of the World Federation.
Of the World Federation, yeah.
He's actually been a coach for quite a long time.
Of table tennis?
Yes. He's an amazing player.
Right, okay. Well, I wouldn't have expected that, but there you are.
Yeah, there you
You're
are.
always learning something new.
Yeah. No, he's a very good player. He's been involved with Mammoth. He used to do coaching of the kids on Fridays, but I think after he took up his position with World Federation, his priorities have shifted.
Yeah. Tell me, what is the take-up level in our community as far as table tennis is concerned? Because I think from our point of view, table tennis has never been a very popular sport. It was always cricket, tennis, football. But table tennis was sort of in the periphery. So what's the take-up like?
Well, as far as table tennis is concerned, until SJRS came on the scene, you're right, it was very much on the periphery. And when I used to attend the MEMT tournaments...
So can we explain to the audience what MAMT
So that's the Mulasker Memorial Tournament, which is held annually in Peterborough.
Right.
And it involves all the sports, including table tennis. I was always disappointed at these tournaments because there were lots of kids who came to play, and either the organization was not up to scratch, or the facilities and the equipment were not up to scratch. And when I was invited to join SJRS, it was my ambition to give our kids the opportunity to play using proper equipment, in proper facilities. And this is what SJRS created. a forum where our kids could actually participate in sports
Right.
in the right environment with the right facilities and having all the proper equipment. And that was a major breakthrough. And I think table tennis, since then, at least in London, especially in Stanmore, has become very popular.
I have two questions. The first one is related to Stanmore Jeffries. Now you have been associated with Stanmore Jeffries for some time now. Perhaps you can express or explain to us the impact Stanmore Jeffries. I mean, it's a creation which is, in my opinion, a recent one, although it has a bit of a history. But I would like to know from you the impact Stanmore Jeffries have had in the interest in sports amongst the strata of our demographics in our community, from young to the old. Can you throw a light on that?
I think it's huge. There is no other word for it. It's huge because I believe it is an independent body that looks after its own interest.
All right, okay.
It is not governed externally. It's affiliated with hujjat, but it is independent.
Autonomy to make decisions.
And because it's autonomous, it's able to make its own decisions, and it has done wonderfully. I think it's an organization which has so much to show for itself. You got activities every week in table tennis, in football, in badminton. You got cycling, you got swimming, you got adults, the seniors playing now every Tuesdays and Wednesdays at the mosque. And the thing that has impressed me most is the fact that our ladies, who are members of SJ, have really organized themselves to a level where they are doing all these activities, not just for fun, but they want to become competitive, and they want to train, and they want to get good. So at the moment, I'm training the SJRS ladies team of 8 players who are going to participate in the Unity Games in Dubai.
Right, okay.
And I was really surprised when one of the ladies, who was the captain of the team, rang me and said, will you coach us? And I wasn't sure whether my answer should be yes or no. So I said to her, let's meet up and talk about it. And when I met her, I could see that she was very serious, and they wanted to train in a serious environment so that they could have a reasonable chance of winning the tournament.
So, Husseinbhai, talk to us and share with us this festivals that we have, like MAMT, Mullah Asghar Memorial Tournament. We then have certain festivals, both golf, sometimes volleyball, and then we have a unity game. What's the value of that within the community? Would you be able to sort of express something very important that is happening when sports like that is happening in the community? Does it have a positive impact?
I think that sports,
or it's just getting together and then everyone's forgetting about it?
I think it's more than that. I think sports played in any forum is going to make an impact. MAMT was unique because it organized these sports annual festivals. If my memory serves me right, it goes back about 30 years, and it's continued. It's possibly now probably beyond its sell-by date, simply because the numbers who participate have grown to a size where it's no longer manageable.
Ah, okay.
So it is popular, and sometimes when something is too popular, it dies under its own weight because organizationally it becomes very difficult. So MEMT, I believe, was a good starting point to get us to think as a community organizing sports, albeit once a year. It brought us together. SJRS took it one stage further. It organized its own festivals in exactly the same way that MEMT does, but it limited it to racket sports. And the good thing is that it organizes events which are kind of the sideline at MEMT.
But make it a mainstream.
And it makes it the centerpiece.
Yeah.
And I think that SJRS has made a significant difference by introducing these sports and then created these groups that organize themselves every week. It's given the support. And we've got some really passionate players. We've got some passionate people who are volunteers. I talk about passionate people. Muhammad Abbas Mirali, who I have been working with for the last 4 or 5 years.
Now, what's his position?
Well, he ran the table tennis part of the SJRS for over 3 years. And because he is such a good player and he knows how competitive sports is played, he has organized the sessions on Saturdays in a way that makes it competitive, where people come not to just play, but they come to become good. Whether it is a kid, whether it's an adult, they come to compete to get better.
It's just not a social thing, but it's something which...
There is a little bit of banter while you're waiting.
That is, yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
but when you're playing...
You're serious.
And the attitude of all these players has now changed from coming just to play to wanting to become good. Simply because he transformed the thinking from playing to become good.
It's all about perception.
It is, and I think it's also introducing small ideas that then grow. So out of these Saturday sessions and the coaching that I do of the juniors, we've got 22 of these juniors and adults now competing in the Wembley and Harrow League.
Oh.
To create 22 players in league within 4 or 5 years is a great achievement. And some of them are kids who are 11 years old who are playing with adults.
So this nicely takes me to another question. As a coach, how do you pick up a potential in a child? Do you develop it? Do you see a natural ability? Talk to us and share. How do you see it?
There are kids who either possess natural talent. It's a bit like nurture and nature. There are 2 aspects to it. There is the ability to pick up technical skills very quickly. Kids demonstrate that at a very early age. So if you have a group of 4 kids, you may quickly realize that the one who has that natural ability in that particular sport is picking up the skills you're teaching them very quickly. But more importantly, it is not the ability to pick up a skill. Eventually, all kids will pick up skill, some faster than others.
Okay, right.
The difference is the kid who has the mental ability to be good at a sport and has got the hunger. And that is what I am looking for. I'm not looking for technical ability or talent, as you call it. I'm looking for boys who demonstrate the hunger. And it is with that hunger that you motivate them, you give them the tools, and you develop them.
Now, that's a very nice way of putting it, and I think it makes sense. because you can have a natural talent, but mentally you may not be prepared for enhancing that. You're lost out. But if you have both, for example, then you can reach a level. Alternatively, if you have a mental capacity to do something, that determination can reach you there as well.
Completely.
Yeah. I want to now come back to your childhood. You were born in Kampala. Talk to us your childhood time. When were you born? 1955.
I was born in 1955. I was born in Kampala. My first memories of anything to do with sports probably go back to when I was about 4 years old. Incidentally, my father has never played or has any interest in sports. And I could say the same about my mom.
So then how did you, what
Okay,
were the influences there?
So the influence there was my uncle.
What
My
was his
father's
name?
youngest brother. His name is Askar Ali Juma.
Okay.
So he used to play badminton at Ishnashri School every evening. And
This was Ishnashri Primary School.
yeah, so he was obviously an adult, but at the primary school there was one badminton court.
Yeah.
And they used to have a club, and he used to go and play every evening. And I used to accompany him to simply watch. So that's my first memory of sports, going and watching him. And it captivated me, how adults become so competitive about sports, hitting a shuttle over a net. As a child, that's all you see.
And then having a huge discussion over it.
Sometimes arguments as well, fights.
I didn't want to go down that road, but there you are.
So those are my first memories, and I think he was the one who could see that when he took me and my cousin would be messing around, and I would be watching, and he could see that I was interested. And as I grew older, he is the one who encouraged me in whatever sports that I took up. I remember when I was about 7 years old, our Ishnashri community then was well organized in sports.
We're talking about now 60s?
Yes, we are talking about early 60s. Okay. They had organized a tournament. So they had tennis, they had badminton, they had football, they had volleyball. And I remember watching the badminton finals. And it was one of my cousins playing against one of my uncles, not the uncle who took me there, another uncle. And I was really impressed by the standard of play. That was something amazing. Those guys never came to practice because they were much better than everybody else, so they obviously played somewhere else. And the next day, what I did was I went home, and in our forecourt, there was quite a big area. I drew up a badminton court. I invited all my friends in the locality to participate in a badminton tournament.
Right.
So
How old were you?
I was probably about 8 years old. So there were 12 of us who played what I played my first badminton tournament. And I remember making trophies out of the silver that came out of the cigarette packs. You know, the Benson and Hedges had a gold.
Yes.
So the winner got the gold trophy. I made it with my own hands. And there was a Rex which had a silver foil, and I made a silver one. So I made my own trophies. I ran my own tournament, and I created in my own mind what I had seen the previous week at that tournament. So when one talks about these tournaments, it shows how much they can influence an individual.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, yes.
So
But you went one step ahead. You see, what you did was you organized it.
Yes.
You had that fascinating imagination. So
Yes.
you brought that imagination into play and then you practiced it.
Yes.
And that led to you becoming a coach and also a very good organizer of MAMT. I think you ran it for a certain number of years. So just shows those young childhood imagination days, how much impact it can have if properly utilized in the future. Now, I have what happened then eventually, you went to United States under YMCA?
Yeah, so at the age of 11, I would call it an accident happened, which transformed my life.
Why an accident? And it may
It was
have
an
been-
accident because I played one of my schoolmates a game in badminton,
and picked up.
and I beat him very easily. And at the end of the game, he said to me, "This is not my sport. My sport is tennis." So I said, "Where do you play that?" So he said, on the tennis courts. That's the real sport. So I said, "Can we go and have a look?" So we went and had a look. It looked very similar to playing badminton. Obviously, there is a heavier ball and different
But
kind
still
of
a
rackets.
racket. Yeah.
So anyway, next morning I said to him, "I'll challenge you to a game of tennis." And I turned up to play tennis with a badminton racket because I didn't know the difference. And everybody laughed at me. But one of the boys there lent me his racket. And
How
I
old
played,
were you then?
I was 11.
11.
So I played this boy, and he obviously beat me. He only played 4 games because there were only 2 courts and lots of people. So he beat me for love. And I said to him, "You're really good. I'm impressed. How about a challenge?" And I said this in front of everybody. "In a month's time, we are going to play again. I'm going to beat you for love." Now, that was the competitive part of me that was hurt
It's audacious.
of losing and challenging and daring. And sure enough, a month later we played, and in front of a big crowd, I beat him for love.
And that's how you picked up for YMCA?
And that's how I started playing tennis. The YMCA came into the picture because you could only play tennis at the school during the school hours, and then the gate was shut. I found out through some of the friends that I had that at the YMCA there were 3 courts, and you could play until it got dark, and you could play at weekends. So I went to the YMCA one day, saw lots of people playing. Now, obviously, I saw that as a huge opportunity to play that game. So when I talk about the accident, playing that guy at badminton and him using those words got me into tennis. And the rest is actually history. I have continuously played tennis.
Right, yeah. And then
Since
until you
that
came
time.
up till today, I think you
I still play
tennis,
at a competitive level.
So, Hussein, now, were you in Kampala in 1972 when Idi Amin expelled?
I wasn't. So a year before the expulsion, my sister wanted to come to London to study for further education. And my mum would not agree for her to come on her own. So my father found a compromise, and that was that if I accompanied her, then it would be okay. So I accompanied my sister to London so she could do her further education, and
But this was
I would go to
accidental
school.
as well, then.
It was purely accidental, yes. So I came here in 1971,
Right.
and obviously after the events in
Yeah.
1972.
So your parents were still there.
They were still there.
And
yeah.
presumably in 1972 you were here at the time, and then the parents joined you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then you are in UK now, and you went to, presumably you did your secondary schooling here?
Yeah.
Or?
So I was at a comprehensive school, and I remember on the day I was interviewed, the headmaster asked me, "So what do you want to do in life?" And I said, "I'll become the president."
President of what?
So he said to me, "We do not have presidents in this country." So I said, "No, I was talking about becoming the president of my country."
Uganda.
Yes.
You had that ambition? Or was it-
So through the YMCA, I went to the US.
But you had the ambition to become president
And
of Uganda?
that's when the ambition to do something big
Came about.
started, simply because I was like a mini diplomat who went to the US for 2 months.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I could see a different world and how you can influence things as a diplomat. I was an ambassador in a group of
that
10
makes
boys.
sense. Okay.
And it was a nice feeling to be an ambassador.
And then to be a president.
Yeah.
Okay, so your
So
school-
I was at school in this country. I did my GCSE not too well, simply because I was put in a class not of the high performers. So I was asked questions about history and geography. I had learned East African geography and history. And obviously I didn't fare well being asked questions about English history or European history. So I was put in the bottom class. Most of the kids in that class were from the local council estate who were waiting to become 16 to leave school. They were basically thugs who were just waiting to leave school. It wasn't a good environment to study, but again, luck had it that I got into the badminton team, the school badminton team, and the badminton teacher asked me one day, "Are you in the right class? Because you seem to be quite smart." So I said, "I'm in the class that I was put in." So he said, "I'll talk to the headmaster. I think you should be put in a better class." He was obviously concerned that I would not get the opportunities. So after the Christmas break, I was put in a proper GCSE class. And obviously then I could do the GCSE rather than the lower
So
exams.
that now, obviously, you went to university, London School of Economics. Why LSE?
Remember, we were more like refugees in this country at that time. We had no resources. The only bits that you learned was through people around you. So one of my cousins had gone to university in Manchester and did a finance degree. And when I talked to him, he said that would be a good course for me. And I said, but I don't want to go to Manchester. I want to stay in London. So he said there's only one place in London that does this kind of course, and that's LSE. And so that's where the idea of going to LSE came about. Except when I mentioned that to my careers teacher, she laughed at me.
Why did she laugh?
She laughed at me because of the way we were looked upon at that time.
Right.
Yes, there were not many Indians there. And she kind of said, "You've got to lower your expectations."
Oh, okay.
it might be worth considering a polytechnic, which does bookkeeping or accounts degree. And I was insistent that, I'm stubborn, that I wanted to go to LSE. And she said, it's going to be a waste of time applying because you're not going to get the grades. The grades for LSE were quite high. So she didn't take me seriously. However, my determination to get the grades was such that I got them. I got higher grades than I needed to go to LSE. And when I went to see her with my grades and said, can I go to LSE? She was shocked because she was the one who had said I couldn't do it. And now I'm in a situation where I can't go there because it's not the kind of university that would have a place for you in clearance. So she said to me, well, perhaps we can try one of the regional universities. And I got a couple of offers. One was from Bangor in Wales, and there was another one, I think, in East Anglia. But I was determined to go to LSE. So I said to her, I'll take a gap year and go next year. And that's how I went to LSE.
Right, good. So now, your life in university, you were playing sports presumably and achieving academic degree as well. Is that correct?
So I was the one who was instrumental, the guy who drew that badminton court in the foyer in Kampala is the one who set up the table tennis club at LSE.
LSE.
There was no table tennis club there.
Okay.
And I set up the club there.
It's still there, or?
About 8 years ago, I took my daughter to show her the university I went to. And the gym where we played, the same tables that I bought are there.
And the club is still there?
And the club is still there. Okay. It was such a good feeling that I had started something in 1975, which is still continuing.
MashaAllah. Okay, good. Hussein, I want to move forward now because you then changed your, presumably your profession or outlook, that's how I can put it, to becoming a solicitor. What sort of led you there to become a solicitor? What was the spark?
So as I said, the reason I went to LSE to do finance degree is because my cousin suggested that. But I had actually done subjects at A levels, which were all reading subjects, politics, history, and economics. And I kind of knew that accountancy was not for me.
Figures are not for you?
No, I could do them, but it gave me no kicks.
It doesn't give you.
Yeah, it didn't give me the same kicks as reading history or economics. But you kind of go along with the flow. And I got an offer from a city firm of accountants, Tushros, as a trainee, which I accepted. But at the same time, deep inside me, something was saying, this is not what you should be doing. It's not going to be challenging for you. And the people around me were a little bit dry. So I applied to the College of Law for the conversion course, and I was told that all the spaces were taken up. But that put me on a waiting list. And I remember on a Friday morning when I was at my dad's shop helping him, the phone rang and the College of Law said that there is one place available because somebody has dropped out. And that was 5 days before I was supposed to start my job at Tushros. I asked that lady, how long do I have to make a decision? And she said, until 2 o'clock. Otherwise, we pass it on to somebody else. And just like playing tennis changed my life, that phone call changed my life. Because I spoke to my dad. And he said, follow your gut instinct. And I said, I haven't got the money. And he said, don't worry about the money. Things like that in life sort themselves out. Yes, this is about your future. So I picked up the phone and I said, I'll take the place.
And you became a solicitor.
And it's the best thing that happened to me.
Right. Then you became partners to various city firms.
Yeah.
Now,
it was not city firms. They were London firms.
London firms, yeah. So then you went on to have your own
Yes.
practice. Tell us, I mean, those who are aspiring to become solicitor, first of all, would you tell them that this is a good profession to go into nowadays?
There is no such thing as a good or a bad profession. Every profession has its good bits and bad bits.
So would you say
when kids come to do work experience, I never say to them, you're going to be good at this or bad at this, or you're a girl or anything of the sort. What I say to them is that if this is what excites you and this is what you want to do in life, then go for it.
Yeah, would you say, though, if somebody were to say, would you encourage them to pursue that profession?
Absolutely.
Right, okay. So if you encourage them to pursue that profession, would you then think that, or would you advise them, given the current situation, to then become a partner of a firm, existing firm, or open their own?
Okay, so
eventually.
Partnership and I have not gone along too well. There are certain types of people who relate well to partnership. In my case, I trusted people too much and I was busy working and bad things happened. So I was disappointed with my partners.
Right.
And the one thing that I learned in life is that if you're independent, your destiny is in your hands and you're not constrained by what your partners may do. Becoming a sole practitioner is not something that I would recommend. The world has changed from what it was from my days. Becoming a partner in a firm is something that everybody should aspire. Yes. So my son works for a big city firm as a lawyer, and yeah, I would encourage him to become a partner.
Now with AI and all that, obviously the thing is shifted in many ways because the templates are now available, contracts and all that sort of thing. You don't need to go to a solicitor, perhaps for advice maybe. But you have to bear in mind that the thing is shifting and to be aware of it.
It is. I think you're absolutely right. You may have heard of this young boy, Akbar Datu.
Yeah.
You know him?
Yes.
Well, I remember in 2001, he rang me one day out of the blue. I didn't know who he was. Somebody had given him my number. And he said to me, I want some advice. I went to Cambridge, I did an IT degree, I work at Deutsche Bank, but I'm dissatisfied with my lot. And I'm thinking of becoming a solicitor, and everybody's saying to me, don't do it. So I said to him, it's strange, but when I asked somebody the same question, when I wanted to shift from finance to law, that's the advice I got as well. It's worked out for me. What I suggest is you don't listen to people. Come to my office for a couple of weeks, find out what it's all about, and decide. And he came, and he decided to change to be a lawyer. He became a banking lawyer. And what he has now done is he's left mainstream law. He has combined his IT knowledge and skills with his skills in banking law. and he's running a very successful
Yes,
business.
about 2-3 years ago, I heard that he was doing something like that.
Yeah.
But there you are. You see, this innovation and all that is something that one has to be aware
Yeah.
that as technology is
But I
changing
think-
and intruding into the profession, that you have to be very innovative
Yeah.
in whatever you're doing.
But I believe that our generation were hard workers. The new generation are what I call smart. A smart generation is better than a hard-working generation, simply because they will know of opportunities that are out there, and they will be hungry. They're a little bit like my table tennis players who are hungry.
Well, I'm not so sure though when you say about smart, and because I also feel that sometimes the thing is given on a plate, whereas our generations had to learn from the scratch and build it up, and you can easily go back to the simple thing and then build it up into complexity. Today, you don't even require remembering of the mathematical tables. You just have a calculator or a computer and all that. The time will tell us as to whether we will have a generation of people who may not be able to read and write. May not be able to read either. They can listen and make it out. So where the world is going, those basic things that we learned are still essential ingredients to be had. But anyway, I see the point that you're making.
I mean, the idea that with every generation, it either goes forward or backwards. I'm a believer that with every generation, it will have its own challenges. It will adapt to change, and the ones who are able to adapt to change and take the opportunities will always be successful. The advantage that our kids have over us is that we put in the seeds by doing the hard graft, gave them the best education, and with that education, if they are now ambitious and they are motivated, then the opportunities now are global.
No, I absolutely right, and I think that it's very important if they use it in a right way.
Yeah.
But in every civilization, you will note that there is stagnation and then a collapse and all that, and everyone is affected. So it's up to that generation then to understand either the logic of their own existence or what they are doing, or either take the opportunity or just accept that we have got it and we may not be as determined and motivated as we were when we came to this country. So it's the makeup and the mindset.
And also the circumstances are different.
Of
right?
course,
if
the
you come to a
circumstances,
country as a refugee, your mindset is different.
Absolutely right. And here you have a situation where everything is there, available, and all that. But this is a subject matter I didn't want to deal with. we went into it. I want to come back to your professional life now. You became a solicitor. Then you joined a club, Kenton Tennis Club. Now, that also was something which you then became a captain of that club as far as the tennis is concerned. Correct me if I'm reading it right or not.
So no. I joined Wembley Tennis Club.
Wembley, yeah.
In 1973, 2 years after I came here. And I played at that club for 34 years. And
34 years.
Most of my best tennis was played at that club.
Now that's something different from Wimbledon, isn't it? This is Wembley.
It is Wembley. Okay. It is very different from Wimbledon.
Yeah. I don't know why it crossed my mind, but you also were involved with Wimbledon.
Yes. So when you play external tournaments, sometimes if you get to the finals is either played at Queen's or it's a very reputable tournament. It'll get played at Wimbledon. So I have played in tournaments where I've played the finals at Queen's Club, and I played one tournament where I got to the finals and played at Wimbledon.
Right. What was it like?
It wasn't Wimbledon, the tournament, but
No,
was
no,
the
I understand
venue.
that. But what was it like playing in those grounds? I mean, you felt good?
As a kid, you dream. And I dreamt that one day I will play at Wimbledon. Not a mediocre tournament finals, but the real thing. So
these dreams appear to be, functioning very well in your case. You dreamt when you were a child to do something, you got it. You dreamt something from there, you got it. You never became a president. Are you still dreaming about it?
I didn't become a president.
But it seems to be helping you.
The thing is, everybody should have dreams. If you don't have dreams, then the motivation you have in life is limited. And I look around me, for example, my age group people who are really good sportsmen, whether they play tennis or table tennis. By the age of 60, they have an injury, they stop. My dream was that I'm going to continue playing. And as I find it harder and punishing for my body to continue playing at a higher level, this coaching lark is a perfect substitute.
Absolutely right.
Because
Absolutely right, yeah.
Not only is it giving me the opportunity to put back all the joy and pleasure that competitive sports has given me, it also, when I watch one of these kids perform, it reminds me of me being 11-year-old and the excitement of an 11-year-old playing his first tournament.
It must be giving you a lot of pleasure because you combined your aspiration to continue with sports, and then of course seeing a young potential develop, actualizes into something, or flowers into something. It must be quite a happy occasion.
When I did my coaching course, on the last day I had to pass a test in front of the English team coach. And he asked me, why did you think of becoming a coach at this age? And I said, to keep young. So he says, how does that work? So I said, I'm now working with young people who are 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes, it makes me feel young when I am relating to them because I have to be at that level to be able to train them. So I believe age is not a deterrent to anything. As long as you dream and...
But keep on dreaming. Now, what's your next dream then? I mean, do you have a dream that you have of becoming something, being something? So, it's very important.
So if you look at my profile in my firm, the firm's profile, it talks about what people do in their pastime. And my bit talks about table tennis coaching, and it talks about creating a sports foundation.
Oh, so that's your next dream then?
Well, I think that dream has actualized in what I'm doing. There is no foundation, but what I'm doing day in, day out with the coaching, it's actually doing what a foundation would do. It has no structure. The only structure is assisted by Mohammed Abbas and others. So I'm still doing it.
What about your legacy? I mean, doing all these things, having a structural foundation, or perhaps Stanmore Jaffrey's would be your foundation in that case.
Well, I think Stanmore Jaffrey has given me a platform. Yes, and it's working extremely well.
Right. That's important.
Sports Foundation may have been a dream, but I believe that dream has actually been achieved.
Alhamdulillah, that's very good. On a on that positive note, perhaps you may want to share your experiences, which you have shared with us now, but share your vision of sports within community, how it ought to be, how it should be, whether it has achieved to the level that you feel that it should be, or it needs to get to that. Whatever sort of aspirations you may have for sports within community, you may want to share it with the community and the leadership. More they need to do, or they are okay?
As far as the community is concerned, it hurts me when I go to a center which is an Oshwal center, a Lohana center, who have created their own sports facilities. And we look at what we do, which is to hire out facilities for our kids. It hurts me that a community that is actually well organized, is wealthy, it has got resources, has not got its own sports center. If we can dream of having our own sports center, I think that Stanmore Jaffrey could do 10 times as much as it is doing today, simply because a kid would be able to play table tennis 7 days a week rather than 2 hours a week. And I would be there available to coach him for as long as he wants to. So if we are going to move to the next level, to dream about our kids not just playing in the league, but to becoming county players and to be national players and to dream about playing in the Olympics team, then as a community, we have to give them a kickstart. What we are doing is functional. What we do as Stanmore Jaffreys is amazing. It's amazing compared to what other Jamaats are doing. And perhaps they ought to learn from us. But to my mind, the key is to have your own sports center. It doesn't have to be incredibly expensive or lavish. It doesn't have to be the standard of a David Lloyd Center. It can be functional. One of the things that I asked Husseinbhai today, our president, was we got plenty of space here. Why can't we move from Harefield Academy to here? And he said, yes, we are actually thinking of that. So we've now got this center. Yes, we are thinking about creating a business center upstairs. Perhaps the next thought process should be how we can, within this center, create sporting facilities for our kids.
But you see, your dream of having a sports center for the community is already becoming a reality because the president is thinking about it.
And he plays table tennis with me on Saturdays.
The committee
that helps.
And the committee is there, I'm sure, who would back him on this wonderful proposal that you just mentioned. I think you're right. Our community, particularly in the 21st century, we deserve a sports center of our own.
And I think if we look at the amount in percentage terms that our community puts into sports, it's probably less than 0.5% of our resources.
Yeah.
And that's sad because the kids who play sports will become good human beings who will develop not just in sports, who will be successful in whatever they do in life. And we want balanced kids who learn to tolerate other people, use sports as a medium to become good at everything and to become good human beings as well.
Yeah. No, I think your message is coming out very clear that the leadership of the community must make sport as a core lifestyle now for the community. So apart from its other function, sport should become a major core within it as well.
We do well in
Yeah.
organizing everything,
Yeah.
and we just need to make sports a priority.
That's what I'm saying. So what we should now end in is a positive message to the community that community center should now, a sports center should become a reality sooner than later.
Yeah, my message to the community is that sports has captured the imagination of the London community. We cater for seniors, we cater for adults, we cater for young kids, we cater for ladies. Each group is organizing their own sports in so many different ways. We just now need to think about the seeds are in the ground, how the crops are now going to grow and multiply. And I believe having a center of our own, whether it's here or somewhere else, is going to accelerate that process. So far as the world community is concerned, I mean, I'm attending the Unity Games in Dubai in December, and I'm really disappointed with the organizers. But they are going to host a competition that's going to be attended by over 1,000 people. And yet, there is not a single place for juniors.
So that needs to be noted down.
Well, see, adults can organize themselves. Children need to be organized. So our priorities are still culturally what they were in my time, where I watched my uncle play. Yes?
So we need a shift.
We need a shift. We need a serious shift, and I think London can be the lead because SJRS has shown how powerful it can be when youngsters get involved in sports.
I think on that constructive note, we would end. Thank you very much,
Thank you very much.
Hussein, for your thoughts and candid expression of how you felt and what you feel needs doing within, I think, all our communities throughout the world. Of course, London has made progress, but I think we need to make progress in many of our communities throughout the world. Thank you very much, and we'll, inshallah, see you next time. Khuda Hafiz.